New Mexico, 1893. The Kurumpa Valley, a harsh land of red canyons and scorching sun. For the cattlemen of the Wild West, it was a gold mine. Massive herds of cattle grazed on these plains. But as soon as the sun dipped below the horizon, the valley belonged to entirely different masters. In the stillness of the night, a howl echoed that froze the blood of even the most hardened cowboys. It was Lobo, a massive dark wolf whom the locals considered a true demon in the flesh. Weighing over 150 pounds, he was an absolute giant, unmatched in strength and ferocity. Lobo wasn't a lone wolf. He led an elite pack consisting of just 5 hand-picked wolves. This wasn't just a pack, it was a highly coordinated military unit where everyone knew their role. They didn't hunt the sick or the weak. Lobo chose only the finest yearling calves, insulting the farmer's pride. It was estimated that in a few years, Lobo's pack destroyed over 2,000 head of premium cattle. The Kurumpa Valley declared war on him. A bounty of $1,000 was placed on Lobo's head, an absolute fortune at the time. The best hunters from all over Texas and Colorado flocked here to claim the prize and the glory. They brought packs of vicious hunting dogs, specifically trained to kill wolves. But Lobo didn't run. He lured the dogs into narrow, rocky gorges where his pack lay in ambush. Not a single dog that chased the King of Currumpaw ever returned. The hunters left empty-handed. The ranchers tried using strychnine. They laced meat with deadly poison and scattered it across the valley. But Lobo's sense of smell was flawless. He could scent human hands and metal from hundreds of yards away. He would deliberately push the poisoned meat into a pile of trash, showing his absolute contempt for men. Locals began to whisper that Lobo was a werewolf, immune to both bullets and poison. In 1894, the turning point arrived. Ernest Thompson Seton came to the valley. Seton was a professional naturalist and the most renowned wolf trapper in North America. He brought with him the latest scentless steel traps and the most complex chemical poisons. Seton prepared special baits. He wore gloves to avoid leaving even a single molecule of his scent. He placed them along Lobo's favorite trail. Seton was absolutely certain he would find the wolf dead by morning. But at dawn, a shock awaited him. Lobo had gathered all of Seton's baits, piled them together, and defiled them by leaving his droppings on top. It was an open mockery of the great hunter. Seton switched to traps. He buried them on the trail so skillfully that they were completely invisible. Yet Lobo sensed the hidden danger. He would carefully dig the dirt around every single trap. Then the beast would drop heavy rocks into the mechanism to safely trigger the steel jaws. The battle of wits lasted for months. Seton was exhausted. He admitted that Lobo was smarter than most men. The hunter began studying the pack's tracks to understand their habits, and then he noticed something strange. One wolf in the pack constantly broke the rules. Its tracks often ran ahead of Lobo's, which was forbidden for anyone but the alpha. The locals told Seton about Blanca, She was a stunningly beautiful, pure white female wolf. Lobo loved her. Blanca was the only creature in the world the stern king forgave for any insolence. Seton made a heavy, dishonorable decision. If Lobo couldn't be beaten by intellect, he would strike him right in the heart. Realizing the proud Blanca was less cautious than her mate, Seton set a trap specifically for her. Just as he predicted, Blanca ran ahead to investigate the bait, ignoring Lobo's warning growl. A terrifying metallic clang shattered the silence of the canyon. The proud white wolf was caught. By morning, Seton and his men found her. Even trapped, she snarled and fought to her absolute last breath. The hunters cold-bloodedly lassoed her neck with ropes and choked her, robbing the King of Currumpaw of his queen. Seton tied the lifeless white body to his horse and dragged it back to the ranch, leaving a bloody trail on the ground. As night fell, the valley filled with a sound Seton would never forget for the rest of his life. It was Lobo's howl, but there was no threat in it anymore. It was the heartbreaking cry of bottomless grief. All night, the massive wolf frantically paced around Seton's ranch. Love had completely blinded his mind. The caution that had saved him for years vanished. He was only searching for the scent of his Blanca. Seton knew Lobo would return. Along the scent trail, he set a massive matrix of 130 traps. The beast that used to sense a single trap from a mile away now charged blindly straight into the metal web. The traps snapped shut, one after another. Lobo found himself shackled by all four legs at once. When the sun rose, Seton rode up to the site. He expected to see a monster thrashing wildly in a rage. But Lobo stood completely still, majestic and proud, even while bleeding in the iron grips. He never growled at the men. He didn't beg for mercy. His amber eyes stared far into the distance. He was looking out over his beloved Kurumpa plains, where he would never run with Blanca again. Seton couldn't pull the trigger. His respect for this incredible beast overpowered his greed for the bounty. They tied Lobo up and brought him to the ranch. Seton offered him the best meat and fresh water. But the king turned his face to the wall. He had lost his freedom, his territory, and his one and only love. Lobo had no intention of living in a world without Blanca. That very night, his great heart stopped forever. When Seton found him dead, he was devastated. He wept over the body of his greatest enemy. That moment changed Ernest Thompson Seton forever. He realized the irreversible mistake humanity was making. The hunter abandoned his trade and became a writer, dedicating his life to making people respect wildlife. Lobo died, but his tragedy saved millions of other lives, and so the King of Currumpaw achieved true immortality.